Hello, Hope School family. This is Darren Wilson, Director of Online Operations at Hope School of Leadership. In today's Deep Dive podcast, we'll be talking about Designing Social Change, Section 3. We're glad you've joined us today. I think you'll enjoy the conversation. Let's listen in.
If you're listening, chances are you're someone who feels this really deep calling. You want to make a real tangible difference. Maybe in your church, with your family, or just, out in the wider community. You've got this incredible drive to help other young people, to genuinely improve lives.
Yeah, that passion is so important.
And you believe in that mission, right? You trust that, your efforts are guided and they're going to lead to something good. But the big question is, how do you take all that passion and turn it into action that actually works? How do you move past just good intentions to effective community development?
That is exactly what we're going to get into today. We're doing a deep dive into a really crucial stage of human-centered design.
Okay.
It's called the ideation phase. And we're focusing particularly on something called synthesis.
Synthesis, right?
And this isn't just, theory for the sake of theory. It's a really powerful, structured way to help you channel that amazing passion into actual concrete programs.
Programs that really work in the community.
Exactly. Programs that resonate because they're built with the community in mind.
So our mission here really is to show you how to go from just seeing needs, observing what's happening, to generating ideas, solutions that are genuinely innovative and effective. It's about making sure your hard work isn't just well-intentioned, but it actually tackles the specific challenges people are facing.
Think of it like a shortcut.
Yeah.
A way to get well-informed and really effective faster.
Love that. A shortcut to impact.
Okay.
So let's unpack this. Where do we start? Maybe first, let's just ground ourselves. What exactly is this ideation phase?
Okay, yeah. So it's a core part of human-centered design, or HCD.
Right.
Which at its heart is just a way of solving problems that always puts people first.
Right at the center.
People first. Got it.
So imagine you're trying to improve something big for people. Maybe like a new tool for a family that's struggling, or, a helpful program for youth in your church.
Yeah, something practical. The ideation phase is where you kind of break free. You come up with loads of creative ideas to solve that specific problem.
So lots of ideas, not just one.
Not yet. It's about getting really imaginative, just generating this big list of possibilities. And here's the key. Don't get bogged down trying to make it perfect or worrying if it's even possible at this stage.
Okay, so it's not about finding the perfect idea right away, more like casting a wide net, like a creative free-for-all.
Exactly. No bad ideas at this stage.
Yeah.
The whole point is to find fresh, unique solutions that could genuinely make people's lives better. And it's totally okay if some ideas seem out there, a little unconventional.
Yeah.
Sometimes those are the ones that lead to the biggest breakthroughs. Think of it like a big idea party. Creativity just flowing.
I like that. An idea party.
And then later, you start to sort through them, refine them, narrow them down into something real, something that can help people in a meaningful way.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So this phase isn't just like random brainstorming. It's a deliberate step. It transforms what you learned earlier.
Precisely. That's the perfect word, transformation. The ideation phase takes all your research, everything you learned from really listening and observing the people you want to serve.
All that groundwork.
Right. And it turns it into meaningful, actionable insights. And those insights become the foundation, the bedrock for whatever you design.
So observations become opportunities.
That's it, exactly. Where what you saw and heard starts turning into real possibilities for change.
Okay, great. Now, you mentioned synthesis as the starting point for ideation, and the source material says, look, the synthesis thing can be tough.
It can be.
It can take design teams weeks, even months sometimes. But you also mentioned a shortcut, especially for our listeners, young leaders trying to make a difference, maybe without huge teams or tons of time.
Yeah, and this is really valuable. While, yes, it can be a long process in some contexts, the core of it has been streamlined into just a few key steps you can actually work through in, say, a few hours.
A few hours. Wow.
Which is huge for community-based work, right?
Yeah.
Where you need to move from learning to action pretty efficiently.
Right.
That speed can be a real game changer.
Absolutely. That's a massive advantage. Okay, so let's walk through this streamlined process, step by step. First up is capturing your learnings.
Right. Step one.
What does that mean exactly? What are learnings, and why is capturing them so vital?
So learnings aren't just facts and figures. They're more like vivid recollections, things that really stood out when you're talking to someone or observing a situation.
Okay, like stories.
Exactly. Direct quotes are great. Anecdotes, even notes on like sounds, smells, textures, colors, sensory details, anything that helps capture the whole story.
The whole picture.
Yeah. And the reason you want to use full sentences, not just bullet points, is crucial. It's about preserving the emotional truth and the context of someone's experience.
Ah, okay. Not just data.
Right. Raw data is just data. But a well-captured learning, a story that can spark real empathy, real innovation in your team, it keeps it human-centered.
Really getting into the narrative.
Right.
Got it. So practically, how do you do that? How do you capture them well?
Well, you need a good space, lots of wall space, maybe some big boards, and definitely Post-it notes and markers, lots of them.
The classic tools.
They work. So your team gets together and you basically download your learnings. You pour out all that key info onto the Post-its.
Okay.
You want to focus on each individual person you met, each place you visited. Be really specific about what actually happened. Look back at your notes. Maybe even use photos you took.
Photos, yeah, that helps jog the memory.
Definitely. And you mentioned stories really share the inspiring ones with your team.
Make it come alive.
Exactly. Be specific what happened, but also descriptive. What did it feel like, sound like, look like? Cover the who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Building this shared pool of stories.
Yes. It helps build those resonant ideas, those feelings, right into the team's understanding. You get this deeper shared context.
Okay, and are there specific things we should make sure to capture on these Post-its?
Good question. Think about like personal details, profession, maybe age range, location. What stories were really interesting or surprising? What seemed to motivate people? What were the barriers they mentioned? How did they interact with their environment or with each other? And importantly, what questions do you still have?
Things you're still wondering about.
Right. And while you're doing this, really listen actively. Listen for differences, even contradictions between what people said or did.
Okay.
Get it all down on Post-its. Small pieces, concise sentences, direct quotes if you can, and display them. Big enough to read, maybe grouped by person or place.
So everyone can see the whole picture emerge.
Precisely. It creates that shared understanding across the whole team, which is just fundamental for doing good community work together.
That makes total sense. Okay, so you've got this wall full of rich learnings. What's next? How do you start making sense of it all?
That brings us right to step 2. Searching for meaning. This is where you find the themes, the insights.
It's finding the patterns.
Exactly. You start clustering, grouping those individual learnings into categories or buckets. A good way to start is have everyone pick maybe 3 Post-its they found most interesting.
Okay.
And then together you look for patterns. Are there repeated ideas? Consistent problems people mentioned? You physically move the Post-its around on the wall.
Like sorting puzzle pieces?
Kind of. You rearrange them until you start seeing these clusters that represent, rich opportunities for design, potential areas to focus on.
And once you have these clusters, these groups, you give them names.
Yep. You name the clusters. Find a theme name that captures the essence. It could be something like access to capital, or maybe problems with distribution, depending on your context. Make sure the themes really reflect what you learned. Make sure you haven't missed anything major. It's collaborative. You discuss, maybe debate a bit, move things around until everyone feels, yeah, this reflects what we heard.
Got it. And from themes, we get to insight statements. This feels like a really important jump.
It is. It's where observation starts becoming maybe revelation.
Yeah.
You take each theme and you craft it into a concise sentence, an insight statement. It should offer a fresh perspective, even if the core info isn't totally new.
Okay, give me an example.
Like maybe the theme is about fruit delivery. The insight might be, there is no financial incentive for distributors to deliver fruit in the community. Say, it's specific, it offers a perspective.
Ah, okay. A clear statement of a problem or an observation.
Exactly. And one theme might lead to several insight statements.
Yeah.
Then, crucially, you look back at your original challenge, your mission.
Your starting point.
Right. And you narrow down all those insights to maybe the top 3 to 5, the ones most relevant, most important for your specific goal. You have to let some things go.
Focus is key.
Definitely. And the source suggests really refining these statements, make them short, memorable, make them feel like they open up possibilities.
I like the idea of testing them too, maybe asking someone outside the team if they make sense, if they resonate, like a quick gut check.
That's a great idea. Fresh eyes can be so valuable. The big benefit here is you get clear topics, clear focus areas for your actual solution design.
Okay, so we've captured learnings, found themes, crafted insight statements. Now what?
Now, step 3, creating how might we questions, or HMWs.
HMWs. Right. And what's interesting here is you take those statements, those insights, and turn them into questions. Why questions?
Because HMW questions are designed to be the launching pad, the springboard for your brainstorming.
Okay.
You write them directly based on an insight, but you frame them to feel optimistic, exciting. They help you generate ideas really quickly. You just start the sentence with, how might we?
So it's like an invitation.
Exactly. An invitation for ideas, for suggestions, for exploration, open-ended.
But getting the scope right seems tricky. The source had that great example about fruit delivery. How might we provide transportation options?
That was too narrow, right?
Way too narrow, because it already assumes the solution has to be about transportation logistics. It closes off other ideas.
And the opposite, how might we sell more fruit? That was too broad.
Yeah, too broad. Doesn't give you much direction. Where do you even start?
But the sweet spot was, how might we incentivize distributors to make fruit deliveries?
Perfect. Because incentivize opens up so many doors. Financial incentives, sure, but also maybe community recognition, logistical support, partnerships, lots of directions.
But I liked that tip. If your question feels like it already has the answer baked in, ask yourself why. Why do we want to do that? To broaden it back out.
That's a great way to reframe. Find the root need. So you generate a bunch of these HMWs from your key insights. Then, as a team, you pick the top 3.
The ones that feel most exciting. Yeah, trust your gut. Which ones feel most important to tackle, even if they seem a bit daunting? The payoff is huge. You get these generative, actionable questions that are tied directly to your research, ready for brainstorming.
Okay, so learnings, themes, insights, HMW questions. Now we finally get to the ideas. Step 4.
Yes, the brainstorming part. Ideas are the output here.
And these can be anything.
Anything. Practical, simple ideas, wild, crazy, audacious ideas. Like that example of a hypothetical delivery drone for fruit.
Right, the drone.
It doesn't matter at this stage. The absolute golden rule is defer all judgment. No shooting down ideas during the brainstorm.
Just get them out there.
As many as possible. Quantity over quality at this point. Because sometimes the craziest idea sparks something truly brilliant in someone else.
And the best way to capture them, quick sketches.
Yeah, sketches are often great. Visual, quick. It sounds like a really energetic section.
Definitely. Okay, so that's the process. Let's make it real. We've got a couple of case studies that show this in action.
Right. First up is the MoneyThink mobile app. This was about designing digital tools for financial literacy aimed at high school students in Chicago.
Okay, MoneyThink. They had a mentoring program already, but wanted an app to kind of reinforce the lessons outside the classroom. How did they use this HCD approach?
Well, the design team spent a good chunk of time, like 6 weeks, really immersing themselves in the students' world.
In the field.
Yeah, observing the program, but also just watching how students use their phones, which apps they liked, how much they use social media, Snapchat, selfies, all that. And they noticed this really interesting thing, this great energy around young people sharing and getting feedback and affirmation about themselves. That was a big aha moment.
That's a powerful observation. And they found something key about their actual money habits too, didn't they?
They did. A really critical insight was that these students, well, they often don't have regular income, like a weekly paycheck.
Right, so traditional budgeting doesn't quite fit.
Exactly. They'd get money maybe around holidays, birthdays, bigger chunks, less often, and they planned big purchases around those inflows. And often, what they wanted to buy was driven by wanting peer approval.
Like the example of saving $200 for sneakers.
Right. And the team asked this brilliant question. Instead of just calling that reckless spending, how can we create tools that actually work with these existing patterns? How do we leverage that desire for affirmation?
That's such a smart reframing. So they initially had some ideas, maybe like a standard budgeting app with games.
Yeah, sort of like Mint.com, maybe encouraging them to sell old stuff. But when they talked to students early on...
User feedback changed things.
Completely. Students basically said, if it's not social, we're not interested.
Make a break.
Totally. So the designers pivoted. They shifted to creating this flexible platform based on interactive financial challenges.
How did that work?
They used an Instagram-style feed. Students could post photos when they face a spending decision, tag it spend or save.
Oh, cool.
And then others could like it, comment, offer encouragement. It created this positive feedback loop, this shared experience around money decisions.
And they involved the students in designing it too, co-creation.
Yes, and this was vital. They didn't just design for them. They asked the students, how would you design this app? They got sketches, challenge ideas directly from the students.
So the students felt ownership.
Huge ownership.
Yeah.
They were way more confident they'd actually use it because they helped build it. And later, during prototyping, that desire for social features came up again and again. It confirmed it was essential.
Wow. So the final app was interactive, social. They even had a business selfie challenge.
Yeah. Applying what they learned about finance to their own lives right there in the app. It was piloted with hundreds of students. Real impact.
That's a fantastic example. Okay, what about the second case study? The e-toilet in India sounds very different.
Very different context, yeah. Even Scientific had these high-tech, self-cleaning, coin-operated toilets, but people weren't using them as much as expected.
Huh, why not?
That's what the IDEO.org team came in to figure out. They needed to make them more intuitive, more user-friendly, rethink the whole experience.
So more research.
Loads of it. Over 100 interviews, talking to potential users, staff who maintain the toilets, local officials, really digging into the context in urban southern India.
What themes came out of all those conversations?
The big ones were, perhaps unsurprisingly, cleanliness and reliability, but also, maybe more surprisingly, gender friendliness.
Gender friendliness. Interesting. How did that translate into insights?
Well, for reliability, they found insights like reliability drives routine. Makes sense. But also, the people who live and work near a public toilet play a crucial role in directing users toward or away from it.
Ah, so it's about trust, social proof from the locals.
Exactly. And for gender friendliness, there was this incredibly specific human insight. It came from interviews where women talked about needing to retie their saris after using the toilet.
Oh, wow.
The insight was, women want a private space from which to enter and exit the toilet.
That's something you'd only learn by really listening.
Absolutely. Deep empathy, careful observation. And that specific insight led directly to a design change.
What did they do?
The final designs included this simple L-shaped wall built just outside the toilet door.
For privacy.
Just for privacy. Seems small, maybe, but it addressed that specific need and made a huge difference to comfort and usability for women.
Incredible. Okay, so you go through this whole ideation process. You have these refined ideas rooted in insights. What happens next? Where does HCD go from there?
Yeah, the journey definitely doesn't stop at ideas. You move into more concrete steps. Things like storyboarding.
Visualizing the solution.
Exactly. Seeing how it plays out step by step in someone's life. Then you might do role-playing or build simple prototypes.
Like mock-ups.
Yeah, low-fidelity prototypes. Just enough to simulate how someone would interact with your solution. It lets you test your assumptions really quickly, really cheaply, before you invest a lot.
Smart. And then you combine ideas, refine them.
Right. You review everything. See which concepts are most promising, maybe combine elements from different ideas, make improvements based on that early feedback.
And finally narrow it down.
Yep. Narrow it down to just a handful of the strongest, most promising ideas that you'll then develop further and test more rigorously.
It's an ongoing cycle of learning and refining.
Exactly. Each step builds on the last. It keeps your solution grounded, practical, and truly centered on the people you aim to serve.
Okay, so let's bring this all back home. For you listening right now, we've just walked through this incredibly useful process. The ideation phase, the synthesis steps within human-centered design. It's this really robust but also compassionate framework. It helps you take what you learn from observing and listening.
All the initial research.
And turn it into solutions that are concrete, creative, and really focused on the users, on the people.
So if you're a young person and you're fired up about making a real positive difference in your community,
In your church, your family, wherever.
this framework offers such a powerful way forward, maybe even a divinely inspired way, you could say, to ensure that your efforts, your passion, truly lead to impact.
Building solutions that aren't just ideas that sound good to you, but that genuinely resonate because they come from understanding people's real needs, their real desires.
Solutions built with them, not just for them.
Right. So as you go out and continue your work, maybe leave this conversation thinking about this. If understanding the why, the real reasons behind people's behavior, if that's the absolute foundation for effective, lasting change, what insights might you be missing right now in the communities you care about, the people you want to serve? What hidden truths are waiting to be uncovered? And how could finding them, how could that lead to breakthroughs you haven't even imagined yet?